My name is Paul Boyer, and I live in Brooklyn, New York.
My name is Haley.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I'm living in Chicago.
What's your occupation?
I run a wine shop in Brooklyn.
I am currently a full-time student.
In general, do you know anything about Islam, the religion or culture?
I would say that I know a little bit about the religion and culture.
Could you explain to me what you know of Muhammad as a historical and spiritual leader?
Well, he was the founder of Islam, and he was sort of a Christ figure for them, in that he was a prophet among many prophets of God.
From what I understand, Muhammad is like the religion's higher power. So like their God.
Do you know who Allah is?
No.
Could you explain to me what a mosque is?
It is sort of the equivalent of a church, I guess, would be one way that you can think of it. A place that Muslims go to pray, and the call to prayers take place there. And there's the leader who is an imam of a mosque. I don't know what else.
What do you think about the fact that they're going to build a mosque right next to the Twin Towers site?
I think because of the situation that happened on September 11th, that it's very touchy to many because of that. And a lot of people lost their lives, and, we're still fighting because of it today. I don't personally have a problem. I mean, like, if we're going like off a religious standpoint, I feel like there's an issue there because it's very almost it's I don't want to say it's like too soon or like but I can see where it would be a problem to many. Like it's kind of saying like, oh hey, these people knocked down our building, but we're gonna let them pray right there.
Being a New Yorker, I know that there might be a mosque built next to where the Twin Towers were. What do you think of that whole debate?
To me, the debate is not something that really exists in New York as much. It is mostly something that people around the country, different politicians around the country, are turning into a political issue. I think most New Yorkers, or at least most of the New Yorkers that I know, think that there's no problem with it being born there or being built there. A lot of people don't talk about the mosque that exists in the Pentagon, and that was also attacked on 9/11, and that was just sort of a non-issue. There was one, that existed there before the attacks, and there's one that exists there after the attacks.
So you think that this is all just political hype and that New Yorkers as a people don't really care?
Now, there are certainly some New Yorkers that oppose it, and there are certainly some families of people who were victims on 9/11 who oppose it. But I would say that in general, most New Yorkers just think that it's fine that it would be built, and if it hadn't been made a media issue, people would have not thought much of it. There are other mosques that exist near Ground Zero already.
What do you personally think of it, in your opinion?
But I personally, like, if they want to worship there, I mean, you can't really do anything about it, I mean, like I said, I don't judge other religions at all. But, like, it's hard to say, like, oh, yeah, I think it's okay, even though, like, to some extent it's not okay.
I have no problem with a mosque being built near Ground Zero. Not, I think people have a hard time making the distinction between Islam and terrorism, and there's a lot of there is a lot of fear around the issue and a lot of ignorance.
So a lot of Muslim people died near 9/11. Don't you think it's important for them to be able to pray near their, where so many of their family members died?
Yeah, I think it's really important that they be able to pray where they, lost people. Um, but based on what happened on September 11th, I mean, clearly it was what it was. It's very hard for people, like, from other religions to be like, they're going to go and worship there where they killed a whole bunch of people.
Why do you think that is?
Well, that's almost a philosophical question. I think that people need someone to be afraid of, and that the media and politicians certainly need an enemy, and that we've historically had these enemies, whether it be communism or China or any number of other things. The Spanish, the Irish, people in power just need someone to victimize and demonize.
As a woman, what do you think of having to wear a veil or a headpiece?
The veil, wow. If you grow up believing that that's what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to cover yourself up, like you're not supposed to show a lot of skin, it's not accepted like that, then it's one thing, But I personally feel like the ones who do practice that part of their religion, I feel like it kind of gives them a reason to not be able to show off who their character is. I feel like it definitely kind of hides who their true person is. Same time, I feel like as a woman, you should be able to dress a specific, like the way you want to dress. You should be able to, show some sort of character, and like be unique in your own way without, having to be like looked at in a strange way or, judged because of what you wear. That too is controversial in itself, because you see it a lot. I mean, you do. And like after 9/11, the more you see it, you kind of hesitate when you see it because you don't know what they, what they're up to. Like, why are they walking around in their, full on Islamic gowns or whatever? But
do you think it's threatening when men or women wear, full traditional clothes or like pray on the street? Like, do you find that?
Like I said earlier, I don't judge other religions at all. But it'd be strange because I know that I wouldn't just sit down and pray to God in the middle of the road or in the middle of the sidewalk or wherever I was, even if it was customary to like my faith. Like, I feel like if you have to pray somewhere or at a certain time, it should be done in a certain area where it's accepted or where it's, appropriate, because a lot of people do judge it and a lot of people feel threatened by it. Like, I was at an airport once and there was a whole group of them that just started like bowing down in the middle of the airport, and it was kind of different, and I was kind of like, why would you do that in an airport, especially after the whole 9/11 thing took place and you're sitting here praying in an airport in your full traditional clothing and everything. And it was very intimidating. It was kind of something that you were taken aback by because it was not really something that should have taken place at an airport.